I would not begin by assuming mera fide intent.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, in our country, especially in thinking about politics, we
Hmm.
begin with intent, not with arguments.
Yeah.
Uh, you see, there are four mistakes that every opinion poll can make. Number one, and I think in this, and you make a good forecast because you are lucky. One error cancels the other error, and then you look very wise. In my case, too, many of my errors canceled other errors. I underestimated the BJP NDA in Bihar, but I overestimated them in Uttar Pradesh. So these errors canceled each other out. In the case of other opinion polls, the big ones, 401 versus 290, now that's a huge mistake. But I think it's a combination of four mistakes which piled upon each other. One, undersampling. Except CSDS, which does a very strict random sampling from voters' list. Most opinion polls and exit polls use a method of sampling where they end up undersampling the poorest of the poor, the weakest person, and the less articulate. As a result, if these are the ones moving away from BJP, then you are bound to underestimate it. Number two, there is underreporting. As I mentioned to you, if you go and ask someone, who did you vote for? Modi ji. Sit down with them for 5 minutes and they say, kya kiya? Nahi, unhe nahi dala. So that's the survey wouldn't capture it. You have to have a 10-minute conversation, relaxed conversation, which the surveyor has no time for because he has to get his 60 interviews in a day. So underreporting, especially in a state like Uttar Pradesh, they're not lying, but it's just that you've not given them time. Number three, there is under aggregation. When those voting figures are reported to the pollster, there are many undecided voters. And pollster fixes those undecided depending on other answers that they may have given. So I'm someone who was undecided, but I said Modi is a good PM. So the
So then
pollster
you fall into
assumes
the bucket of
of
you will
BJP.
get that vote. Right, right,
Right.
right.
And finally, there is a vote seat conversion error. Because no pollster gets a straight figure of 62. They get a figure of anything between 58 to 65. So you would adjust at 65 rather than at the midpoint. And that is where some bias creeps in, which is I somehow, when I looked at all the polls saying something between 350 to 400, I asked myself, were they all adjusting their raw reporting at the upper end of the range that they had? In every single state, they were adjusting it to the upper end, which is to say, if I end up slightly overestimating the BJP, that's all right. But my God, if I end up underestimating them,